welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're a coach, a manager, a leader, or honestly anyone in the business of developing people, you're definitely going to want to lock in for this one. Today, we're diving into a highly practical toolkit designed for real leaders who are dealing with real people and driving real change. We're looking straight at Chapter 9 of Fred Clements' book, 30 Coaching Tools and Approaches That Actually Work. Let's just dive right in. So, let's start with a problem you've almost certainly faced. Why do some coaching conversations just get completely stuck? You know exactly the feeling I'm talking about, right? You're trying to guide a team member, but the dialogue is just muddy, it's unclear. Maybe you're seeing a severe lack of confidence, or people simply will not take ownership of their tasks, or maybe their thinking is just frozen in place. And honestly, you're left totally uncertain about how to actually help them move forward. Well, as we dig into the source material, Fred Clements pinpoints the hidden root cause of these everyday frustrations, and it usually boils down to just one missing ingredient. As he puts it, without trust, people protect themselves. It's a fundamental truth of human behavior, really. When trust is low in a professional relationship, people hold back. They're going to give you safe, partial answers. They'll tell you what they think you want to hear, and they completely avoid the real underlying issues. The guard is up. And that self-protection mode actively sabotages any chance of meaningful change. But luckily, Fred Clements' 4C's model of trust provides a brilliant solution to this. Now, this isn't some abstract academic theory about how nice trust is. No way. This is a concrete diagnostic framework. It's specifically designed to take that nebulous kind of mystical feeling of trust and turn it into clear, measurable pillars that you can actually assess and build upon in your everyday conversations. Okay? So the crucial point here is breaking this big idea down into plain English. Trust is built on 4 core components: caring, collaboration, capability, and character. If a professional relationship is straining, the breakdown is almost always hiding in one of these 4 specific areas. By giving us this specific vocabulary, the framework takes a tricky concept and grounds it into something highly practical for everyday professional use. And you know, all 4 are absolutely needed for trust to be deep and durable. Just compare a low-trust environment to a high-trust one for a second to see how this actually plays out in our workplace reality. In a low-trust environment, people are guarded, you're getting those partial answers we talked about, and frankly, it's just exhausting. But when high trust is actually present, the entire dynamic transforms. People speak openly, they honestly reflect on their mistakes, they take genuine ownership, and they engage in a healthy challenge. Make no mistake, a high-trust environment is the dynamic functional engine of a truly successful team, and that is exactly why mastering this model really matters. Let's break these down a bit further to help you diagnose those gaps in your own team, starting with caring. I want you to do a little self-reflection here. Do your people genuinely believe you have their best interests at heart? And I don't just mean the company's bottom line. I mean their personal growth, their well-being, their dignity. Do they feel you are genuinely concerned for their success? But look, caring isn't enough on its own. We also need collaboration, and this poses a very pointed question. Do your people experience you as working with them or just doing things to them? In a coaching conversation, collaboration means the outcome isn't owned by the coach alone. The coachee needs to be a totally active participant in the thinking, the meaning-making, and the decision-making. Then there's capability. Now, what's fascinating about capability in a coaching context is that it doesn't necessarily mean you have to know more than the coachee about their specific job. Instead, it's about asking, do they actually trust your professional competence to hold the process well? Do they trust your ability as a manager or a leader to navigate the team effectively? And finally, the sustaining pillar, character. This is all about absolute integrity. Ask yourself, do your people experience you as honest, consistent, fair, and reliable over an extended period of time? Because as the book points out, capability might open doors for you, but it's your character that determines whether trust can actually be sustained once you're in the room. Now, I need to warn you about a massive pitfall here. We call this the soft trap. There's this really dangerous misconception out there that caring means rescuing people or being overly soft or actively avoiding necessary feedback just because you don't want to upset anyone. Too many managers fall right into this trap incorrectly, assuming that a high-trust relationship means things are always perfectly comfortable. But that is a total myth. The source text dispels this brilliantly, stating, trust often makes healthy challenge possible. You see, genuine trust doesn't remove challenge. It's exactly what enables robust, uncomfortable, and growth-driven challenge in the first place. High trust means you can actually have those really tough conversations. because the foundation underneath you is rock solid. To really ground this, let's look at a practical case study straight from the book. Imagine a manager who is facing a severe fundamental breakdown in confidence and trust within his team. He knew things were totally broken. He could literally feel the tension every single day. But here's the catch. He had zero clear path to start repairing it. He was completely paralyzed by the sheer complexity of the problem. So, how did the coach actually help this manager? Well, they used the 4Cs model step by step. First, he had to recognize the fracture without getting defensive. Second, he used the 4Cs to honestly self-reflect. He really had to sit down and ask himself, would my team say I'm caring? Would they say I work collaboratively with them? Do they trust my capability? Is my character consistent? By mapping this out, he was able to target the specific gap where his own behavior had accidentally fractured the team's trust. And this right here is where the breakthrough insight happens. The 4Cs take abstract frustration and turn it into a highly targeted diagnosis. Because think about it, if your team lacks trust in your capability, you don't fix that gap by bringing in donuts and being more caring, right? You fix it by intentionally demonstrating professional competence. The model tells you exactly where to focus your effort, which brings us right back to our opening hook. So how do we actually unstick a conversation? Well, the answer is that diagnosing the missing C clears the path. It stops you from reacting on autopilot and allows you to repair broken relationships by turning good intentions into effective, trackable action. Trust is built in daily interactions, not big events. But you absolutely have to know which pillar needs rebuilding first. I want to leave you with a provocative thought to apply right away today. Think about your most difficult workplace relationship, the one that feels totally hopelessly stuck. Be honest with yourself. Which of the 4Cs is missing? Is it caring, collaboration, capability, or character? Challenge yourself to pinpoint that specific trust gap on your own desk today, because once you can actually name it, you can finally start to rebuild it. Having the right tools for these real conversations makes all the difference in the world. For more information, head over to clementsconsultancy.com to buy a discounted PDF copy of the book, or head over to Amazon for the ebook or printed version. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and here's to much better conversations.